Welcome to Go Home Heat, a wrestling podcast. This is a pro wrestling podcast featuring New Japan, Jared, Lit, Nick, Go Home Heat, Kid Ray, me, KP. We're going to go through a week of wrestling along with maybe the greatest, most important announcement in the history of pro wrestling. I'll cut to the chase. I don't want the suspense here. Cody Rhodes has America's Got Talent with fireworks.
He's got the Evil Knievel.
Fire and monster trucks.
It's like
Snoop Doggy Dog.
Snoop Doggy Dog and monster trucks.
Kasano herself, Rosario Dawson.
Dude.
That was so important. Dude, like, listen, it was so exciting the entire show. I was like, man, I hope this is just a
Feel the noise.
yes.
As his brother lay with his nuts in his throat after
Yo, you look hurt. But listen, I got Snoop Dogg back there.
Snoop Dogg, listen, you just were beaten up for my honor.
you went out there and defended my honor. I'm back at the house.
With Snoop
Cody
Dogg.
acts like that's his yard too, which I hope so.
I hope so.
It's the Snoop Dogg's yard.
Because forget
Yes.
the Hardy compound, right? The Hardy compound was cool, but it wasn't all that.
No.
They didn't have
Snoop
monster
Dogg
trucks
wasn't
and
there.
Snoop Dogg.
But start-
Rosario Dawson too. That's Luke Cage's girlfriend. Come on.
Come on, feel
But-
the noise.
skipping to the beginning of the week before we get
Oh,
ahead of
Impact
ourselves.
Wrestling did happen.
Oh yeah,
Impact.
there was wrestling, wasn't there?
Yes.
Yes.
EY is in the ring. I'm going to kind of mow through this pretty quickly. Not everybody
Yeah.
got to watch it. EY was in the ring. He's the new world champ. He says all of this was planned, and that's when Alicia Edwards' music hits. And when Alicia Edwards heads to the ring, you know it's promo time, son.
Baby.
And so in a monotone
Yes.
that you would not believe, she
Yes.
points out,
A monotone you could tune an instrument to.
yes, yes. Yeah, exactly.
Voice made for silent movies.
She says that Eddie can't be held back, and that Eddie, and she mentions that he has been through relationship issues before and come out the other side
With Ace Austin.
on screen, which was weird to me because wouldn't that mean you were fooled into never mind?
I mean, to be fair, she kind of was.
Oh yeah, and then we get eventually it turns into the EY gets slapped, and then EY picks her up and is going to put her in a pile driver, and then we get even better because Tommy Dreamer comes out and says what we've all wanted to hear from Tommy Dreamer for the last 5 years.
Yes.
Damn you, we're going to fight. You've ended their careers. End my career.
Oh my lord!
And I was like, yes,
Dude,
end Dreamer's career.
Tommy Dreamer is so funny in Impact because, like, okay, in Impact, people generally have friends that'll come out to help them. You know what I mean? And for some reason, like, 75% of the time, it's Tommy Dreamer.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like he just enjoys
he's everyone's friend.
Evidently, I feel like he just enjoys getting
He's the
beaten
role
up.
of Sting. He's the conscience of pro wrestling.
Yes. He goes out there and he gets the snot beaten out of him.
Oh, dude.
And he goes out there and he starts blading.
And he bothers to tell us that it's going to be any kind of no disqualification match you
Oh, it's
want.
a Tommy Dreamer
And
match,
it's like,
baby.
dude, you're in it. We know it's a Tommy Dreamer match.
Absolutely.
No matter
we know
what.
you're going to get hit with
It's a dream
something
match,
hard
one
and
might say.
metal and then blade.
Right. Okay, so we move on. They're going to fight at the end of the show. Taya, Rosemary, and Bravo are backstage talking, and Taya's going to handle the wedding for them. I can't see where this could possibly go wrong.
Nothing.
Absolutely not.
I don't know if Rosemary will be involved in the wedding at all at this point. Rosemary has to. Only certain people are qualified to marry demons to
Really?
humans. So she's got to go resurrect someone.
You know, my dad often asks me, Nick, why do you watch that wrestling nonsense? Isn't it just silly stuff? And then I tell him, Dad, listen.
There's this
I'm watching
demon
a
on this
demon.
one show.
A demon. He has to resurrect somebody so he can marry somebody. This is important.
Listen, sometimes wrestling is a beautiful medium where you can tell interesting, nuanced stories over the course of years, and sometimes you have to resurrect a demon to marry a demon to a human. That's what
Father
I'm
James
saying.
Mitchell, though, is where I'm guessing she's going.
That is, I mean, he is Father James Mitchell.
Right.
He
Which
is ordained by some
Satan,
kind of
maybe?
satanic priesthood.
Pazuzu? Sure.
Pazuzu.
So that's where we think that's
So?
going. But then we but then we actually get wrestling. Chris Bay and TJP have a great match. Raji's outside the ring, and he winds up distracting Bay, and TJP winds up going over. And then that looks like TJP is going to wrestle Raju for the
Did
X Division title again.
TJP do the dab?
Always.
I'm gonna do it that right now.
Right. Always.
You dabble in literature.
I do.
Locker Room Talk has Swinger, Madison Rain, Kylie Ray and Susie show. Peraza and Kimberly come in and they have interaction between them all. And Swinger, I guess, thinks that he was roomies with Kylie Ray and Susie. I think he was actually a roomie with Crazy Steve.
I thought he was a roomie with the Deaners.
I thought Swinger he got there like first and got a room, and then Crazy Steve had to bunk up with him.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he did not, in fact, bunk with Kylie Ray and Susie.
No, I think his memory is really bad. Which headshots can do that?
A lot of headshots in the 80s.
Fizzles. Those things happen, right? But then, so we're going to get a match between Deanna Peraza, Kimberly, Kylie Ray, and Susie next week. And they do ask Kylie Ray if she knows who Sue Young is. And she does not seem to know who the Undead Bride is yet. So she doesn't know where the tag team partnership is actually going, which should be fun.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Also, going back to the wedding, Rosemary did mention to Neva that she needs to talk to Havoc. Again, that was on Twitter, alluding to Father James Mitchell, because if she's going to resurrect Havoc's leader, the person who was her manager, then we're going to need...
Didn't Havoc also kill him?
Correct. Which would be undoing her deed, so she may need to discuss that.
Yeah, that's rude. Do you think...
If you manage to kill Satan, you would think somebody would discuss it with you before they resurrected
right
it.
now.
Okay.
I mean, you put a lot of effort into it, and it feels just generally rude to resurrect someone that
you
someone
killed? Absolutely.
I mean,
Especially
well,
if that
you just
person
put me down. Why
is
you gotta
evil
bring me back?
incarnate.
It's inconvenient.
Correct. Absolutely.
It's
Okay.
inconvenient.
Hogan and Tasha.
Kiera Hogan.
Kiera
Yeah,
Hogan.
I was about to say.
Before anyone cuts off and makes the dumb
Brother!
And Tasha Steeles run into Johnny Bravo backstage, and they're trying to get some relationship advice going here for the wedding, and they say that they could be the best men or best people, whatever you call them. And he's like, no, Ty is handling all that for me. And they tell him basically he needs to get a set because he needs to be in charge of his wedding. She shouldn't have anything to do with it. That's going to turn into her having to wrestle. Ty is not taking that disrespect. She walks up on that, and so she's going to wrestle Steeles later.
Okay.
Brian Myers talks about how great he is.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere in there, the obligatory, I hate WWE.
Yeah.
Obligatory
jab.
Willie Mack comes out because he had lost in the roll-up the week before. They get a challenge. We get another good match. Referee turns away Myers with the low blow. 2 wins over Willie Mack in a row. They're going to wind up fighting again. But again, Myers is a pretty good wrestler. And so having him with some success along with cheating is good. And we're gonna go further down that road. And Willie Mack needs something to do anyway. Dez and Wentz versus the Motor City Machine Guns in a championship match, and it is a banger just like you think it would be.
Bang, bang.
The Motor City Machine Guns go over, and the important thing is the North attacks, and
The North attacks?
The North attacks.
Well, the South will rise again.
Please stop.
The North is in Canada.
I was about to say that sounds like something
The North,
political.
All hail the supreme leader of the
Ace
North.
Austin and Madman Fulton attack.
Korea.
And
Korea. We have lost the point.
we have got some kind of crazy mishmash of people beating each other up in the ring. The most important takeaway here, though, is what's the guy? Not the 2 guys with the names in the North.
It's
Ulysses
All
S.
Ego
Grant.
Ethan Page. No, it is not Ulysses S. Grant.
And Alexander.
I almost said Alexander Hammerstone, but that's a different wrestler. Jason Alexander.
Okay, Ethan Page is
Jason
getting
Alexander-
to the
wait.
point where you can't even.
That's not correct. Jason Alexander, I believe, is the guy from Seinfeld.
Right.
George Costanza.
Correct. But anyway, Page is wearing the shortest shorts of all time.
Dude, he's a body guy.
He is now.
He's a body guy.
He totally is now. He wasn't. Before the pandemic, he wasn't. He has been working his butt off.
Oh yeah, dude.
But he needs to get longer pants. I turn when he goes for a kick towards the camera. I turn my head away just in case. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that.
We're gonna have JR making some weird comments.
I don't mind abs. No, JR, you can imagine. Oh my God.
Was that a? I don't remember what he said.
What would be worse is if Jake the Snake sees it.
Oh
man, Jake the Snake.
I can't be seen.
Every promo.
Yeah.
I'm seeing things.
Dude, we're bringing back in wrestling. We're bringing back crop tops and short shorts for dudes.
Thank God.
90s have come back.
Okay.
Yes.
Taya Valkyrie versus Tasha Steelz, and Taya winds up winning in another good little match. I saw this thing the other day where they were like, if you could put anybody in AEW's women's division, and I think you replied Taya.
I replied Taya.
It was you that replied Taya?
It was I.
I'm not on Twitter. I'm free.
No.
I was sending this to the text chain. Like, AEW, I feel like, we'll talk about some when you talk about AEW, is in desperate need of some women talent because NXT is killing it. Impact is killing it. NWA is freaking solid. AEW is lackluster in one department. It's their women's division. And if you could choose anyone out of any of the, like that doesn't already have a belt on them, if you could choose any women wrestler to come over to Impact or from Impact, from Stardom, from anywhere
but WWE.
Okay, well first you get everyone from Stardom because that would be an instant upgrade.
But the point is, I was trying to make it. If you could bring only one, and that person is like, you build your whole franchise around this, who would it be? And my point was always going to be like, you bring in Valkyrie. You bring in Taya to be just the worst heel and just go full MJF and just run that whole place ragged.
I also think, to your point, the opposite though, as far as your result would be, because I wouldn't want her to run my division. I would want her to come in and like lose to all of my people, but go into extensive programs, and I would pay her for the right to that. because I would want at the end of her rivalry with this person, that person to be higher on the totem pole. And the next person, you know what I mean? Like that, to me, that's her stage. Now, maybe she comes in and in night 2 or 3 wins the belt and has a nice quick run where she beats a couple of people, and then you put her into these things. Because basically what you're going to be paying her to do is what Natty's been doing for years in WWE, which is train your talent on screen to look better and to take care of each other and to make everything look right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to be a professional backstage. And how do you do promos? How do you do all those things that she's perfect at?
Yeah.
You know, how do you do comedy? Lord, she's good at that crap. You know what I mean? She's so good.
I mean...
Okay. All right. So then, but Johnny Bravo, even though Taya wins, a lot of the times when she could have used help, Bravo was on his phone working on the wedding. So she is very upset with Johnny, and he's going to need his priorities straight.
Oh, mama.
Badly. Now, Mike Bennett, EC3, and Moose are in a throwback match. They give you the replays of the old matches, and Bennett goes over, which makes me wonder, because you know how they always used a throwback match to tell you what's coming next in this company. Is Mike Bennett and Mike Bennett's lovely wife, what is her name? Maria. Are they going to show back up? And because I like Mike Bennett as a wrestler, and he was really good in this company, which is why when he went over there, you thought maybe, but it didn't work. And so I could totally see him back here, and then we could get more. Gee, we hate the WWE promos, because that's kind of what you need in wrestling. If you're going to have a successful promotion, you got to complain about something.
Punch up.
Got to complain about somebody, and Vince is the guy.
I think Vince is a punching bag.
I'm sorry. Creative
punching bag.
Creative.
You said the same thing twice.
Stupid idea.
It's creative.
By creative. By bad creative.
Let's keep on talking about that for like 5 years, and not develop
that's not just creative. That's bad creative. All right, so then we get.
Hey, say what you will about that statement. It silenced the crowd instantly.
Oh yeah.
It completely flipped the crowd on its head.
Oh, dude. Well, that it worked, and it's the blueprint for every promo since.
What happened?
From anybody that leaves that company. On every network.
Chris Jericho?
Yeah, Chris Jericho was talking in the ring with the Inner Circle. And
they're doing the Hagar.
Yeah, they're doing the We the People thing, and Jericho cuts them off. And again, I think this is a really smart move because, again, as soon as he said that was a stupid idea from Bad Creative, the entire crowd stopped.
Well, he also effectively...
Why don't you refer to Jake Hagar as his nickname?
I'm not going to refer to him as his nickname.
But also what he did effectively was he ended, like you didn't hear Rusev Day chants. Now here we are months later, and you didn't hear Rusev Day chants, right? So he really affected that style of reaction from the crowd ever post that moment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we still thanking Chris Jericho for things? Is that still a thing we do?
I don't anymore. There's that one thing he did.
Oh, that's
Heath
true.
and Rhino are talking backstage, and Heath needs money to do more commercials so that he can trend, so that he can join the company, and they know a guy that has money, and how are they going to get it? They're going to attack Hernandez.
Yes.
And that's going to lead to pain
How much money do you think
from
Hernandez...
the Fu Manchu.
Yes. How much do you think
It's
he
a
actually
lot of
has?
money, but it's only the amount of money that fits inside of a big rubber band. So I don't know how many commercials you can get with a rubber band full of money. Even if they're hundreds, how much could that be? But, hey, happy hunting. And if you want to fight, if you're going hunting for Hernandez, good luck with that. He's tough. And Reno Scum's with him. Okay, EY versus Dreamer, and it is exactly what you would expect it to be. A Dreamer match, tough, banged up. It's a little better, actually, than a lot of the other ones, because EY is a little better than, say, if you put him in there with Rhino. And nothing against those guys.
Man.
They're all legends.
That
but
match was rough, though.
one thing about being a legend once you get to 40 is you sometimes look like you were a legend.
And
Legendary
I'm-
moments have happened to you.
I'm also not the type, like, I say this a lot, but I'm not the type of person who is like, you see, like, some people, when you say, oh, Ric Flair is one of the greatest, some people say, oh, but he was until he screwed it up at the end, and it's like, dude, are you kidding me?
That,
Right.
I mean, it doesn't
I'm not,
really, yeah.
I'm not
Right.
one of those people, but
The book was already wrote.
But I do think sometimes it's a better idea to wrap it up. Sometimes...
Dude,
Well, you know what, though? It was that moment. Go ahead.
maybe Tommy Dreamer would be able to hang it up if people stopped attacking other people in Impact. And
And he had to be everyone's friend.
Yes.
Well, and two,
No,
I
that's
do
his friend.
think that Dreamer is an important part of the show.
He is.
He is.
really is.
You know, and he was an important part of the show here because they utilized this because EY was about to put him away and finish his career, and Rich Swann came back.
Yes, baby.
Foot cast on. So he ain't done it with his company. I thought for sure that when he retired, that meant he was going to retire because that's how wrestling really works.
Yes.
Lo and behold, it looks like he's going to try to pull it
What
out.
a swerve.
What a swerve. That's a different network.
Yeah.
They're butchering that name on all these networks. Let's go to AEW, the main event of the wrestling week for the wrestling fan. Chris Jericho is getting out of a SUV and facing the other direction is MJF as he gets out of an SUV, and they talk to each other glowingly about how much respect they have for each other, and then they walk away with disdain once they turn their backs to one another.
They both scoff and say,
What a loser.
what a loser.
What a loser. You like that?
Yeah, I like the segment.
Are
Okay.
we getting that as
Jericho
a program?
had, like, painted on
Not
abs.
yet.
Anyone else notice that?
Totally painted on
Oh,
abs.
he
It was
always has painted
weird.
on abs, dude.
It was so weird. It was like, dude, we literally saw you last week without your shirt on. Painting on abs is not going to change it
You
for
were
us.
blown out within like the first 5
He's like
minutes.
wearing
of
like
Which is
that
fine. But by the way,
shirt with abs on
for the record, I don't feel like Jericho needs to wear a shirt. You know, I'm not that guy. You know what I mean?
No.
But, you know, I watched Dusty Rhodes wrestle for years. He never quite looked great without a shirt on. But hey, worked for him. You know what I mean? And Jurassic Express Virtus. Is it Virtus? Virtual?
Virtual.
Okay.
Virtual.
Versus the Lucha Brothers. What did you think about this?
I thought this match was quite good. I liked it quite a bit. What did you think about the ending, though?
The ending is in the part where Kingston comes out?
Yes, but the ending to the actual match as well. Where
Where-
Pentagon, Canadian Destroyer's his brother.
Yeah.
I liked it. I
Yeah.
didn't think it was like that.
A
bad.
Canadian Destroyer
I mean,
finished a match.
Yeah, weirdly enough.
On his own brother.
on his
Friendly
own-
Fire Canadian Destroyer.
Yeah, I never thought I'd see a Friendly Fire Canadian Destroyer, but lo and behold.
There you go.
Because there's got to be like cycles to it, right?
Full
Well, like once
disclosure.
you cut, like what if you're in the middle and you're like, oh no, I hit my brother, and then by the time you've already hit the pile driver.
Full disclosure, I fear what I see happening to the Lucha Brothers.
Why do you say that?
They aren't on your TV much, and then when they are on your TV, they're losing, and now they're into this program. I'm worried about what's going on because Pentagon to me ought to be in the singles title picture. Phoenix should be in the TV title picture, and instead they're losing singles matches. And I get that they're in a program with Eddie Kingston, and that's what gives me hope. But I didn't have any hope for them pre-pandemic. And then they had to go away because they weren't in the country or whatever, so you can't evaluate that portion of it. So at least they're in a program on TV right now. But I am worried that, same thing, Angelico wrestles later on in the show.
Yeah,
And
I'm disappointed.
I saw
by
a
that.
tag team division, the very first pay-per-view, I saw a tag team division that had those two tag teams, Hybrid Theory.
They're not Hybrid Theory.
Yes,
Hybrid Theory.
that's the name. 2. HT2.
and
H2O.
the Lucha Brothers, and I felt like, hey, these guys are stars. And then I saw this other tag team, Private Party. Those guys are stars. And as I watched the TV shows, I start wondering and fearing, wait, now they went and signed these guys, and they signed that guys, and now this. We'll get to that later. We'll get that in a minute. Okay, Kingston, Jungle Boy goes over. Jungle Boy looked fantastic. Luchasaurus looked good.
Dude, Jungle Boy's getting better every week.
Correct. And he looks like I don't know. In this company, I think he can keep the same gimmick and just keep on excelling. I don't think he has to change anything at all. I think he's fine. But as Phoenix and Penta are bickering and all that, Kingston comes out, and Kingston was, I did not know, Kingston is Penta's best friend.
He yelled it in his face, apparently.
Yeah, he like scruffed him.
Yeah. Did you know they were
I'm
best
your
friends?
best friend.
I didn't think Penta knew that either.
Until
Penta,
that moment.
Let me just say, I love this segment though.
Kingston is great.
Kingston's so good.
Where's your wife? He said to Blade. Where's Allie, who's messing around in the
That's so funny.
right?
I realize it has like weird implications, but it's just like a throwaway statement in the middle of that. It's really funny.
And then at the end, he says, "Don't forget, I didn't lose." Did he crawl over the top rope? Because he said, "Check the rules." Did he crawl over the top rope or not?
I think he might have gone. I don't remember what exactly happened. I think he might have gone through like the second rope, and then been on the apron and then got knocked off.
They'll show us that next week, I'm sure. But yeah, I did. Again, I liked the Butcher and the Blade, and I felt like their program that they were doing there, where they were kind of the sidekicks along with FTR. Again, I got excited because those two guys can go. Evil Uno can go. I haven't seen that tag team wrestle in a little bit, so I start to worry as I see things happening. That's what we keep saying, right? Is the other company, they remind us this periodically, so I feel like it's okay to say this. The other company misses on guys. I look at Jack Evans and go, the other company misses on guys? That guy's a freaking star. I watched Lucha Underground. I can tell you your roster is full of dudes that kill it when they get time. And yet, I'm not watching them do what they can do. But by the same token, it's not that the shows aren't good. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, as I see more and more people come in, I wonder, where's this time going to go? And
They're becoming too bloated. They're getting the WWE problem of like, we have become too
well,
much.
I would say they are nowhere near the WWE
Well, I mean,
level.
not yet, but they're getting close.
But the other thing is too, you have an hour. Now you're doing an hour and 56 minutes of dark, right? And that's fine. And I guess we're going to get another TV show. But again, there's only so many different ways you can highlight groups of people. Matt Hardy comes out next. Skipping over whatever I was just talking about. Let's get to this. Matt Hardy comes out and gives a heartfelt promo where he thanks the fans for watching his almost death the week before. And he did give a heartfelt promo, and he talked about how there would be no him without them. And he thanked his wife.
Dude, his wife was there.
She's like, I will be watching you. You say something wrong.
I felt like she was there to literally make sure he said exactly what he got okayed by her to say, get in the car and get his butt back to North Carolina and make sure he's okay.
Yeah,
Understandable,
he did
though.
say that he was going to take some time off, which is great.
Dude, she did not look happy.
To me, she didn't.
From the very like.
I bet Tony got an earful backstage.
She did have a mask on, so like I can't really tell. But from what I saw, she was angry.
I mean, and I think
Rightfully so.
Right.
So.
What regardless, like something needs to be different. Many things need to be different. in that kind of situation.
Well, here you have a company that, and I think we talked about this before. I don't know if it was on screen or not, but you have a company that really is invested in the employee's ability to control the employee's character. And in a match format, there are goods and bads because you've worked with a guy like Matt. He's been in it longer than anybody that you've ever been. Like he's done it more than the refs. He's done it more than Tony. He's done it more. So when Dustin or Cody or Matt say I'm fine, you might be inclined to go their way because of that. And that's okay until a point in which you realize, oh, there's a reason why we have protocols. There's a reason why you don't trust these. And that's cool because I think that we just got there.
Yeah.
I think that's a flashpoint in the
I hope so.
We've seen some things that were sketchy, some concepts that were sketchy and that were done. And I feel like we just hit that moment in time where flashpoint, boom, things change.
Yeah, dude,
Correct.
I hope.
Correct. Okay, Orange Cassidy, we talked about this, versus Angelico. Cassidy goes over. I thought it was a well-done match. You liked it?
Yeah, I liked it. I find it weird that Orange Cassidy is just like a wrestler now.
That was my question for you specifically.
Yeah,
because you're worried this whole time is Orange
just like a wrestler now? That
is he gonna just like go from being like he loses individual? What makes him special?
yeah,
What makes
like
him-
his whole shtick and the reason why people loved him so much was that he was lazy and unmotivated, but he could go when prompted
Right.
to. If he's just gonna go all the time, he goes from being a unique entity to
Another entity.
90% of the company is like that.
Right. I get it.
Like
and,
if he's just gonna do that all the time, and like what separates him at all from any?
well,
any
to be
member of the
honest
tag
with you,
teams?
the dude he wrestles
Oh,
is pretty dang good.
that guy's tall. I didn't realize how tall Angelico was.
He's fantastic too.
He's like 6'3".
yeah, he's a fantastic.
So he's probably
wrestler.
like 6 foot
yeah,
in
and
real world
he-
measurements.
he's a little smoother than Orange.
He is. He's, I would say, considerably better given the matches that I've watched that guy work.
Right, absolutely. Now, I think the whole point of this, though, is we have an attack by Santana and Ortiz, which is staved off by the Best Friends, and then we get a really strange, talking about people out of water, Chuck and your boy acting like they're mad was amazing. Huh?
Yes.
I'm not there to, we're not there to hug. We're there to kick ass and hug. And I mean, no. Oh, make my mom proud.
Yes.
He said all that mean stuff and then he threw in there, and make mom proud.
Hey,
Trent, your boy Trent.
That's
Which was
almost
good.
Like,
It's on
brand. That's
Correct.
why I like the Best Friends, is because at the end of the day, they are still just like two goofy guys.
right. And in the Orange Cassidy wrestling environment, to do that, he would also have done a little bit more in the match of what we're used to. The shin kick spots.
Yes.
Those type of things. Right? Is that what you're saying? Kind of to some degree?
Yeah, I think the Best Friends being like that separates them from just being, because man, if everyone gets mad and turns into the exact same, well, I'm badass now because I'm angry.
Right.
That's so boring.
Right.
If I see it in and out every week, every time some weird thing occurs and they have to
Right.
fight someone and they just get, I'm all serious now. It's bland.
Speaking of serious now, Kip and Penelope got a wedding coming up.
Man, this segment was terrible for a while. Until.
And your boy Brian Pillman came out.
Man,
They're
it
not
was
even
bad.
friends, evidently. He tried to join in, but no, sir.
I can't believe Tony Khan was like, yes, you can make some of the worst jokes imaginable for several minutes straight.
What?
Right.
What? Okay. So they tried to get Brian Pillman or Brian Pillman Jr.
Brian Pillman is dead.
That would have been surprising. Yeah.
That
would've
joke
been-
would not have gone over.
That's what I thought you said. That's what
under would have
that's
gone.
That's what I thought you said. I thought they made a joke about that.
No, the joke was so bad. Yeah, I when I was watching this, I was like, this.
What was the joke?
The joke was that he texted Brian Pillman Jr. He did it to some other guy who like donated to his Twitch or something. It was really dumb. And then Brian Pillman comes out and he's like, I'm your best man. He's like, no, I texted you, you're the best, man. And it's
You
like,
know,
oh,
Kip, if
this
you need any
is-
jokes, come right at just hit us up. We got you.
Please.
Okay,
This segment
but
was unbearable
the
until
best
Miro
man
showed
does
up.
show up,
I'm
and
the
it
best.
is Miro, formerly
I'm the best.
known as Rusev, and the
In
crowd
his
pops.
$650 Gucci Disney shirt.
Yes, and I think he had Mickey Mouse on his pants as well.
Probably. Those
He's
are
in
also
Florida.
probably in the hundreds of dollars.
Yes. Oh yeah.
He's
Now-
the best.
And
I
he
thought it
did
was
the.
pajamas.
He did the. And I'm going to defend it, but he did the obligatory.
I don't kiss the brass ring no
The last
more.
stop I was at sucked.
I'll say in his defense, more than almost any other person's, I agree.
I agree too,
That dude was over like Rover.
dude. I
Rusev Day.
I was
Rusev
fixing
Day.
to say I would defend it, and I was going to say the same thing. He is the one guy. Like, don't get me wrong. A lot of those guys that complain got pushed, and Rusev was a champion.
Rusev
All
was
that he main evented a WrestleMania.
You know,
got to drive a
he
tank
did
out
not
there.
main
All
event
of
a
that.
Not main event, but he was.
He's wrestling
stole,
Cena, wasn't he?
he drove.
That's pretty good.
He stole the
If
show.
you're
is
wrestling,
what he did.
if you're wrestling Cena at WrestleMania, you can call whatever you want main event, but that's the main event.
What was the main event? Oh, whatever.
Brock
the-
Lesnar versus Roman Reigns.
Probably.
Right.
And
Seth.
then Seth Rollins came out.
Seth.
Oh, right.
Seth stealing the title.
Yes.
Was the thing. But
But
what
yeah,
what are you talking about? The
constantly-
main event was Sting.
Yeah, losing to Triple. Look, I feel like we've lost.
Yeah, we've lost
Let's
the
talk
ball.
about
But
But
what I'm
the
trying to say
point of it
is-
is
what I'm trying to say
Rusev
is-
did have success.
Rusev
but
at his win. Okay,
Go ahead.
We went to this WrestleMania, so I remember this vividly. When he was at his heightest, I was there before the show even started. We were chanting Rusev Day, and then he went out. What the Fatal 4-Way? It was him, Randy, Jinder Mahal, and somebody else. I can't remember, but he is a very forgettable match. But
Okay.
he got pinned by Jinder Mahal in the ring at his most over. That is blasphemy.
even more so though, they weren't just chanting it in the hallway walking into WrestleMania. When we went to Access, WWE Access, where you go and you meet wrestlers and you walk through graveyards and look at all John Cena's cars, they were chanting that as you're standing in line to get in. When we walked into TakeOver, NXT TakeOver, that Rusev is not performing at, walking in and out of the building, they were chanting Rusev
I
Day.
remember
I heard
when the-
Rusev Day for 3 days.
I remember, like, we went to the one when they came by Pensacola, and there was a Rusev. He came in, like, the whole freaking time, chanting Rusev Day and Lana Day. It came
I
to a
think-
point where Rusev was like, okay, and he points to Lana, and Lana just gets a whole huge pop from the whole audience.
Right.
I
That's
think
cool.
at least 30% of that NXT crowd was wearing a Rusev Day shirt.
Yeah, it was crazy.
But getting back to
was-
the point, he was so ridiculously over.
In-
So I feel like his are the most warranted. He
Oh,
was very passionate with this too.
Not to mention, what we're going to find is Rusev getting to be the guy on Twitch should really sell to a crowd that likes a guy they can relate to. And you can't relate to him size-wise. You can't relate to him you can't relate to him as far as like his lot in life. He's married to a woman that looks fairly perfect and all of those things. But
I
when
also
he
fail
opens
at
his
Rainbow
mouth,
just as well as he does.
but when he opens his mouth and he talks to you, he feel like I remember I watched Total Divas. He was on it and he was, he's obviously dating her and then marrying her and all that. He is just a really good guy, and like she can put. Even in like just like the way she goes about her life, she's not a bad person. I'm not saying that at all, but she can complicate her life through not thinking things through, which a lot of us can. And he's able to sit back and be. He came off as such a hero by just being able to hold a life together with her spinning around like a top. He's just a great guy.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that's gonna be a selling point for him because because in this company, you get to kind of be who you are. You don't have to come up with a personality. And that's going to sell to these people that love seeing the real person. And I'm happy
Yes.
for him.
Happy
So
Miro Day, everyone.
he's coming out. The last angle he was in was a terrible wedding
Oh,
angle.
yeah, he-
and
He's
now he's
going-
heading right into a.
Another terrible wedding angle.
Well, we don't know if it's terrible or not.
Like it was every.
It might be all right.
Jericho
It's gonna be
and
better than the last
Hagar
one.
versus Janela and Sonny
Hold on.
Kiss.
Who?
Chris Jericho, Sammy Hagar.
Sammy Hagar?
Listen, I know they're both rock stars, but I don't think that's the right Hagar.
Jake Hagar and
That's my,
Joey
what's
Janelle
his
and
name?
Sonny Kiss.
What's okay? Are they still? Does Jake Hagar still have that stupid nickname?
Is he referring to himself as Rock Hard? Yes.
Okay, so what did we think about the match? I thought Sonny Kiss looked good.
Dude, Sonny
Hagar
Kiss
gets the pin.
looked great.
He did. He's really looking good, and it's getting to the point where Janelle took a lot of the beatings.
Yeah.
But it's almost getting to the point where I want Sonny to get to be in that TV title picture and
Dude,
all that.
please.
You know?
Sonny Kiss is awesome and only getting better.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, after the match is over, Jericho announces he's throwing his hat into guess what?
The tag team division.
Now do you start to understand where I start worrying for Penta?
There's a lot.
You know, and
Yeah.
I think I think Jericho is great.
Okay, as a counterpoint, there's so much talent that even if TH2 and Lucha Bros were in the title picture, you could still list like 4 different teams that wouldn't be. You know what I mean? Because if they were in the title picture,
Proud and Powerful.
Proud and Powerful. They're not in the title picture. You know what I mean?
I
think they
worry
just
for
have too
Pride
many
and
people.
Powerful as well. That
Yeah,
is
okay.
kind of my point.
Pride and Powerful always has something to do, though.
I agree. Totally. I totally
I would
agree.
like to see them get the
Pride and
champ.
I
Powerful
would
don't
like to
really
see them.
need the belts, do they?
No, they don't, but that's because they're with Jericho.
If they,
You know, but don't get me wrong. I agree with your point that there are 12 really good teams in this division. I also see them putting more teams in this division. So
Yeah, I
at
don't
some
know.
point, let's slow down, quit signing
balloon
people.
is getting
right?
too thick.
I don't know if Jericho and Hager is the right solution to the problem.
I don't-
Well,
I
there
don't-
isn't a problem, but the problem with this is everybody loves Chris Jericho. I'm not going to knock that, but the problem with this is Jericho, when he gets into a program, is going to do what?
He bumps the numbers up.
He also spends 15 minutes on your TV set, even if he's not wrestling, which doesn't give other guys time to work. Now, the flip side of that is he's the demo god in real life. The numbers are good. The ratings are good when he's on your TV set. So him getting to be on your TV set is advantageous to the company. It just sucks for me who wants to watch other guys wrestle.
I feel that.
Incredibly
I feel-
advantageous to the company.
I feel like sometimes, like, I want wrestling to be a certain way, but I do recognize that it's like, at the end of the day, they are trying to attract as wide of an audience as possible. So I totally get why Jericho is constantly on TV. People
Right.
tune in to watch him.
Well, and the other
tot-
thing is too,
yeah.
I want more and more people to come into our tent too. I want
Yes.
a bigger tribe of people that I like that like wrestling. You know what I mean? And
The
Jericho
numbers
bring it
recruits
back
those
again.
people to us. 1 million people watched this last episode.
Dude, it's so
you know,
cool.
that's great. Okay, so we got next
What is
John Moxley has a tough road to hoe with Archer. He said cuss words when he's found out Archer won.
Yeah.
Then we
Dude,
get to the Archer promo with Jake. You want to
the
comment on
Snake
that?
promo.
They were like in a TMNT looking background.
It was definitely
Dynamite.
I saw this. It was definitely a modern day Jake the Snake promo. As in he was talking like this and
A tad bit uncomfortable with phrasing, but I still thought it was good.
Caesar.
okay, if this week
The Caesar promo was
okay,
so good.
this
my
week it was a tad bit. Last week it was
We already talked about last week.
Something.
FTR.
FDR.
Run down the whole division until the Wrestling Express
Shoot.
come out. You liked all this?
It
I
was
thought they
alright.
did a good job.
Lay down the tracks.
Set
run
up
them over.
the match for next week. It's a good deal.
I'm gonna love that match.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Dude, if Jungle Boy can go 1 week from working with Lucha Bros to next week working with FTR, in like 2 years he could be the best wrestler on the planet.
Well, we've seen him
Give Kenny a
do.
run for his money.
We've seen him.
On it, dude. Like if he's getting in there with dudes of that quality, of those different styles, he could legit be incredible.
Well, that's
You know?
that's
he's already good.
that's the beauty of the Seth Rollins role in wrestling, or the Shawn Michaels role in the Rock. When you're the guy that's job is to go out there and get beat up, you get to have in a 12-minute match before the hot tags happen, you get to get beat up by a guy that's really good at pro wrestling, and you're not really getting beat up. What you're out there doing is learning how to wrestle. And he's getting to do that with Ray Phoenix, Pentagon, with, you know, I mean, just go through the list.
Oh my god. I like the lucha stuff he did in the match earlier. He did like a arm drag, head scissors, tiara takedown combo.
Right.
Incredible.
Correct.
So
Speaking of Conte, she wrestles next
yes.
versus Nyla Rose.
It was alright.
Beast Bomb, 1, 2, 3.
Bang, bang, bang.
Then we get, excuse me.
Vicky Guerrero.
Pardon?
She says they're coming.
All right.
It was alright. For whatever reason, they didn't show.
Sheeta winds up coming out and saving Conte at some point, and so we're going to get Sheeta versus Rose again.
That was, I mean, it was a good match, so I'm excited enough. They didn't show Conti going to the Dark Order. They showed it on social media, but I feel like
that should have been
on TV.
Absolutely. Other people said the same thing, and I think you're all right.
I don't know if they care enough about Conti to.
They do, though.
They do. They do
because the Dark Order is a big deal.
Yeah.
There's only so much time, and we got to get to
the 3 minutes at the end were the most important. But first,
TNT Championship match: Dustin Rhodes versus Brody Lee, and I thought this was fantastic.
Mr. Brody.
Put your respect on that name.
Okay, what did you think?
I thought it was pretty good.
Now Dustin obviously loses, and then afterwards they beat him up. The fact that Dustin Rhodes, 30 years into a career, 5 decades, and there's a trick to it, of course. He wrestles at the end of one, beginning of another. But the fact that he still is able to go out there and do that is... I remember him as like 18, the natural, and he was wrestling almost the same, except now he has a couple of moves that weren't even invented yet back then. It's just amazing. And Brody Lee's great. This was well done.
That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
But as we lay there,
I'm still blown away by the 5 decades.
Oh, dude! Again,
it's
still, I know there's a little bit of number fidgeting, but he has legit wrestled in 5 different decades, which is crazy.
Right.
But as we sit there watching Dustin's unmoving body as he was beaten mercilessly,
it hurt,
defending his brother's honor.
Oh, what? Go ahead.
Cody, his brother, who he was fighting for the honor of, pops up on our TV screen and tells us about his new show.
Feel the noise.
It was
in Cody's defense. I'm 100% sure that was TNT's doing, not
absolutely.
Cody's.
But it's just, the visual is so entertaining to me.
Mm-hmm.
Of just, man.
But now another thing. I think Sunday night was the night where Cody changed his red, white, and blue throat tattoo, which is insignia or whatever you call it. Symbol, yeah, to all blood red with blood dripping off of it. And this kind of leans itself to, I don't really care about anything but myself, right?
Does it look better?
I mean, he didn't change the tattoo.
On his neck. No, it's just
on Twitter, like a just altered
a new image. So, first of all,
the tattoo's staying and is going towards a more general audience. With
you enjoyed the show, though.
Oh, dude, the show ended up being quite good.
All right.
Like there were the interesting things that happened. Stories progressed. The wrestling was pretty good.
Right.
I liked it.
Tell us about New Japan, if you don't mind.
I need to. All right. So upcoming in New Japan is the G1 Climax. The best time of the year, baby. Every year, best time of the year.
Wonderful time.
It is. Screw Christmas. Jesus doesn't have a good work rate.
That I am not associated with him.
He jobbed out to some Romans.
Judas, he put Judas over.
He put Judas.
And
then all right, this analogy is getting out of hand. G1's coming out. If you're not familiar with the G1, it is a tournament where there are 2 separate blocks that all face each other. It's like a round robin, and then the person with the most points. A win is 2 points, a draw is 1 point, and a loss is 0 points. You're not really going to get very many draws. It happens occasionally. The famous example... Oh, no. Nearly came to a draw with Okada and Sonata last year, but that was the last, 8 seconds of the match. Sonata got the pin. But the people with the most points out of the blocks will face each other, and then the winner gets a title shot for the heavyweight title at Wrestle Kingdom.
It's basically a big tournament arc.
It is. It's like the tournament arc of New Japan, and it is looking phenomenal this year. Like,
Fabulous.
Dude,
Who we got in A block?
A
son?
block is Kota Ibushi,
Ooh.
Jeff Cobb, Okada, Tomohiro Ishii,
Ooh, my boy.
Will Ospreay, Shingo Takagi,
My man.
Minoru Suzuki, Taichi, Jay White, and Takahashi, who's the pimp guy.
The guy who wears like a
Sonata
fedora?
versus Jay White
Yes,
in the
dude.
final.
You okay?
Do you even have to watch it?
Sonata's in the other block, but you're saying already.
Sonata Jay White in the final.
You
I
think
like
so?
I like that what you noted about Takashi was that he had a fedora on.
Yeah, well, I
That's
mean,
like
that's how I mainly know him. He comes up, doesn't run with the cane and the sunglasses, like, hey.
Correct.
Looking like the
Most-
Godfather sometimes.
dude, he
You
pins
just
him in
missed that naked girl
Honestly, I was so encapsulated by his image.
by his
visage.
hat.
It's important. Good lord, A block is stacked. I could see Ibushi winning it. I could see Takagi winning it.
Please.
Jay White, I think, is honestly the front runner.
Come on, Shingo.
I feel like a couple people are probably going to get key wins over Okada. I think it might be the time where Ibushi goes over Okada. Ospreay's probably going to go over Okada. Jay White's definitely going over Okada. And maybe even Takagi. But dude, these matchups are unreal. Dude, if I see Ishii Takagi,
My man.
put that in my veins.
Directly.
24/7. I've seen that match like twice. Give it to me again.
Third time's a charm.
Who would you say, without having really analyzed it, who would you say are your semifinals, final matchups?
Ibushi has had a good couple G1s. The year before last, he got into the finals, and last year he won it. I don't know what that means for him this time, but he has had some major success in recent years. I think he'll probably be in the runnings. I think Jay White's probably going to be in the runnings. From B block is a little weaker overall. It's got Tanahashi, Juice Robinson. Dude, my guy Juice. Juice is back.
Been away for a while.
The juice is loose, is
Yes.
what I'm saying. Goto, which, that's your guy.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, Goto's going to put on some bangers.
They don't ever let him do anything, though.
No, dude, I mean, he's in the right block to have, like,
We can't be great.
I mean, look at who's the next one. We got
Yano. Yano's running away with the whole tournament. He won King of Pro Wrestling.
He's going to slide right out of there.
he better win. He better beat Naito.
Yoshihashi Naito, who is the double champ, I'm saying that he's not going to win the G1 because the reigning champion never wins the G1. That
Right.
has never happened. Sonata, who is probably my favorite out of this bunch to win. They've been pushing him quite a bit in recent years with some major singles victories. I feel like with how the rest of the block is, he is probably the front runner. I think Sonata Naito might be the banger of that block. Although it does have Zack Sabre Jr., Kenta, and Evil.
So, if you were booking, like, just me as a novice, I have Sonata and Evil wrestling the last match against each other.
Yes.
And
For the block,
and it's
probably.
for the block.
Yes.
And Sonata goes over to tell the story of, you turned on us. I was your tag team partner. And I probably have him have to go over. You know what I'm saying? You get where I'm going.
Absolutely.
That's what I would do.
It always ends up being that, like, the block is decided the last night.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's never, like, someone who gets, like, 7 wins in a row and is just obviously going to win.
Right.
No, they always gotta, because it's gotta build up drama.
Well, that's the story.
Absolutely, and I love it, and put it in my veins every year.
Right.
But I feel like you are correct that will be deciding the block.
Right.
I mean, I don't know how much. I think how much they push certain people during this is going to be indicative of the direction they're going. Like how many wins that Evil will rack up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is also a good time for Evil to kind of prove himself. And I know that
Right.
that's
They just took
weird.
the belt off of him.
Yeah.
So, and there was a lot, I don't know if lackluster is the right word, but a lot of people like yourself didn't dive all in with Evil on this. So, this is a big G1 for him.
If he can manage to
Feel special.
just feel like Evil at all.
Yeah.
It's his name.
I've said it before, but when Evil switched, he stopped wrestling like Evil wrestles. He just started wrestling like
Cowardly heel.
like a Bullet Club.
They always do. It's
But-
so
but, like,
frustrating.
What kills me is like Jay White does wrestle kind of like that, but he also completely has his own matches.
Right.
Jay White's a phenom.
Right.
I love Jay White, man.
He's the best heel in the business.
Best heel in the business. Facts.
Mhm.
Facts.
I think so. I mean, he just hadn't been around a while. We forget sometimes.
Yeah. But absence makes the heart grow fonder. And I have missed these dudes quite a bit. And man, these matchups are going to be insane.
All right. So
New Japan, NJPWWorld.com. It's 999 yen a month, about $9. Billing starts at the first on every month, so do it like as soon as the earlier the month as possible, just as a heads up. Please watch the G1. It is hours and hours and hours of top-tier wrestling. You're going to love it. We will be covering it.
for Lit Nick, New Japan Jared, Go Home Heat Kid Ray. This is a wrap. Copyright 2020. Go home.
Go home.
One more again.
Yeah, don't step on my line. Go home.